The year is 1281. A young man stands on the edge of a dying world. To his east, the Mongols, the most feared conquerors in human history. They had already destroyed Baghdad, burned libraries, and shattered the heart of the Islamic world. To his west, the Byzantine Empire, ancient, powerful, fortified behind walls that had never been broken. And this young man, he has a small patch of land on the border, a few hundred loyal men, no gold, no palace, no powerful name behind him. Every neighboring ruler looked at him and saw nothing. They were wrong. His name was Osman, and from that tiny, forgotten corner of the world, he would build an empire that lasted 600 years. An empire so powerful, so vast, so enduring that it would one day control 3 continents and carry his name forever. This is his story. The year is 1281. A young man stands on the edge of a dying world. To his east, the Mongols, the most feared conquerors in human history. They had already destroyed Baghdad, burned libraries, and shattered the heart of the Islamic world. To his west, the Byzantine Empire, ancient, powerful, fortified behind walls that had never been broken. And this young man, he has a small patch of land on the border, a few hundred loyal men, no gold, no palace, no powerful name behind him. Every neighboring ruler looked at him and saw nothing. They were wrong. His name was Osman, and from that tiny, forgotten corner of the world, he would build an empire that lasted 600 years. An empire so powerful, so vast, so enduring that it would one day control 3 continents and carry his name forever. This is his story. History books often reduce Osman to a list of battles and dates, but the real story of how he built his empire starts not on a battlefield, but in a small house with a wise old man and a dream. There was a scholar in the region named Sheikh Edebali. He was respected, influential, and deeply trusted by the local people. Osman spent years in his company, learning, listening, growing. It is said that one night Osman had a dream. In this dream, a moon rose from Sheikh Edebali's chest and entered Osman's own chest. Then from Osman's chest grew a great tree, its roots spreading across mountains, its branches covering 3 continents, its shade sheltering the whole world. Osman told this dream to Sheikh Edebali. The sheikh interpreted it as a sign that Osman's descendants would rule a great empire, and then he gave Osman his daughter Malhun Hatun in marriage. Whether you believe in dreams or not, what this story tells us is important. Osman understood that power is not just military, it is spiritual, cultural. It is about earning the trust and love of people. From the very beginning, Osman built alliances, not just through force, but through marriage, respect, and a reputation for justice. This was the foundation that everything else was built on. Osman had no large army, so he couldn't fight the Byzantines head on. Not yet. Instead, he did something smarter. He started small, targeted raids on Byzantine border towns, not to slaughter, but to demonstrate power, to show that the Byzantine frontier was no longer safe, to attract warriors who wanted glory and purpose. Word spread. Fighters came to him. Refugees came to him. People who were tired of Mongol pressure, tired of weak Seljuk leadership, they came to Osman. He welcomed everyone, Turks, Arabs, Greeks who converted to Islam, Christians who simply wanted protection. His growing state wasn't built on ethnicity. It was built on loyalty and shared purpose. This was radical for its time. While other rulers demanded pure bloodlines and tribal loyalty, Osman said, "If you serve this cause with honor, you belong here." That inclusive approach meant his forces grew faster than anyone expected, and it meant the people he conquered often chose to stay rather than resist or flee. He was not just a warrior, he was a statesman, a builder, a man who thought 10 moves ahead.
By the early 1300s, Osman had built enough strength to do something bold. In 1302, near a place called Baphius, close to the city of Nicomedia, Osman faced a Byzantine army in open battle for the first time. The Byzantines sent a force that outnumbered his men. They were better equipped. They had professional soldiers. They expected to crush this border chieftain and be done with it. They were humiliated. Osman's forces, fighting with discipline and ferocity, defeated the Byzantine army completely. It was the first major military victory of what would become the Ottoman state. The impact was enormous. News of the victory spread across Anatolia and beyond. More warriors came. More tribes pledged loyalty. The Byzantine emperor was shaken. He had underestimated this man on his border, and now the consequences were becoming clear. After Baphius, Osman was no longer a minor frontier leader. He was a threat, a real one, and he was just getting started. It was just...
Victory at Baphius opened doors. One by one, Byzantine towns and fortresses in northwestern Anatolia began to fall to Osman's forces. But here is what made Osman different from a typical conqueror. When he took a city, he didn't burn it. He didn't massacre its people. He offered terms. He allowed Christians to continue practicing their faith. He appointed fair administrators. He maintained order. People talked about this. The reputation of Osman as a just ruler spread, and it made future conquest easier. Some towns surrendered without a fight simply because they had heard how Osman treated people. Around 1317, he began the siege of Bursa, a major Byzantine city that would become the first true capital of the Ottoman state. Osman never saw Bursa fall. He was old and ill by the time the siege was nearing its end. On his deathbed, he gave his son Orhan final instructions. He said, "Take Bursa, make it the seat of our state, and then keep going." In 1326, Bursa fell to Orhan. Osman died knowing his dream had taken root. Osman never called himself a sultan. He never built a great palace. He never wore a golden crown. And yet every Ottoman sultan for the next 600 years carried his name in their title. 36 sultans, 6 centuries, 3 continents. All of it began with one man on a small patch of land with nothing but a vision and the character to pursue it. Osman understood that lasting power is built on trust, on justice, on giving people a reason to believe in something greater than themselves. That is why his empire lasted when so many others crumbled. That is why we still speak his name today. Osman Ghazi was born into chaos. He had no army, no land, no allies, but he had clarity of purpose, and he never let go of it. The next time someone tells you that you don't have enough, remember Osman. He started with less than almost anyone, and he built more than almost anyone in history. The question is never what you have. The question is what you do with it. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the like button. Subscribe for more stories like this. Stories of leaders, warriors, and visionaries who changed the world against all odds. We'll see you in the next one.
And so, the story of Osman Ghazi is not just a story of the past. It is a message for right now, for today, for you. Because what Osman proved is that greatness is not given. It is grown, slowly, patiently, with purpose and with faith. He started with a small tribe and a big dream. He was surrounded by enemies on every side. The odds were completely against him. And yet, he woke up every single day and kept building. Not because it was easy, but because he believed in what he was building. And look what happened. 600 years of history, 3 continents, 36 sultans, millions of lives shaped for the better. A civilization that produced some of the greatest art, architecture, scholarship, and justice the world has ever seen. All of it from one man who refused to think small. That is the power of vision. That is the power of faith. That is the power of simply refusing to give up when the world tells you that you are not enough. Osman looked at his tiny patch of land and saw an empire. What do you look at? And what do you see? Because somewhere out there, someone is sitting in a small room with a big dream, just like Osman once did. And the only question that matters is whether they will have the courage to pursue it. We hope this story gave you something. A spark, a reminder, a reason to keep going. If it did, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, because every week we bring you stories exactly like this one, stories of men and women who changed the world by refusing to accept its limits. The legacy of Osman lives on, and so does yours, if you choose to build it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Until next time.